This is my mid-year Techo Kaigi and a tour of my journal ecosystem, how I use each of my journals, what's been working this year, what has not been working, to give you ideas for your journal and planner system. I started the year with 1 planner and 7 journals. Let's see how things have been going. Let me give you a quick rundown of my ecosystem to give you a better idea of what's here, and then we'll go one by one. I can tell you what's been working, what's not been working, and give you some tips for your ecosystem. Firstly, we have the Hobonichi Cousin. I use this as a planner and as a brain dump. Then we have my daily journal. This is my B6 Leuchtturm journal that I use every single day for daily journaling, of course. Then we have my A5 medium dot grid journal from Leuchtturm as well. This is my bullet journal for my goals, memory keeping, creativity, etc. We'll go through that as well. Then we have my therapy journal. This is, as the name would suggest, my journal where I take notes for therapy, during session, after session, right before session. It's just my self-reflection journal dedicated towards my therapy sessions. Then we have I call this my learning journal. I have been trying to take online classes. I've been doing masterclass, and so I have been taking notes every time I take a course. That way I can make sure that I'm actually learning things. So this I call my learning journal. This is kind of my sidekick brain dump journal. I will talk more about the brain dump situation when we go through the Hobonichi Cousin. And then we have my 5-year journal. This is the A6 Hobonichi. I'm sorry, I can never remember. But I got this one this year. So this is the first year I'm in this journal and I have been loving it. But this is the 5-year journal. And last but not least, I have my little cat journal, which is always important to mention because this is where I do little creative spreads of my little kitty cat, Mr. Jack, who might join us because he gets curious and starts meowing because he wants my undivided attention, but right now he's taking a nap. So this is a quick overview of my ecosystem. So let's jump into talking about my planner, the Hobonichi Cousin. My beloved Hobonichi Cousin, this is my 3rd year in this planner and I love it. I bought one for next year as well. I am going to try and keep this a bit more limited in the sense of I am going to be doing a more detailed walkthrough of what has been working this year and how I've been using my Hobonichi Cousin. I have done previous videos of my full lineup as well as a video on how I've been using the Hobonichi Cousin. So I wanted to do an updated video. So I will try and limit what I share in this video. If you want more details, you can watch my next video. Long story short, I use my Hobonichi Cousin as mainly my planner and my organizer. This is something that I use pretty much every single day unless I'm like sick or traveling or anything. It is my planner and my brain dump and how I keep my brain and my life organized. I love adding stickers, make it decorative. I love adding these tabs to make it a lot easier to stay organized and flip back and forth. I also use these brass tabs for my year at a glance, monthly overview, weekly overview, and daily overview. That way it makes it a lot easier to flip back and forth. I used to use it also for a habits tracker, but for different reasons, I stopped doing it. Just for personal reasons, I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional and go with the flow with my habits instead of being super rigid. Then we have the monthly overview that gives me a glance at the month ahead with what's happening. I have my appointments, any birthdays, any time off that I have, or anything that I need to remember. I always put it in my phone first and foremost. And then when I do my weekly planning, I make sure to update my planner because when I do my weekly planning, I always refer back to the monthly overview to see what's going on. I can then adjust my schedule for the week if I need to adjust my gym schedule or whatever else. It's helpful to get an overview to know, okay, next week is going to be really busy. This week I have to make sure to hit my workouts or whatever else. It's really helpful to have an overview of the month to see what's going on. For example, this coming month, September, the end of the month, and then October is already very busy. So it's helpful for me to know, okay, then this weekend I need to keep it free, have a bit of time at home, have a bit of time to film, etc. And I sometimes write it in pencil just to make sure that I don't forget things, but it is also in my phone calendar. If I'm on the go, then I update my calendar there to make sure I don't forget anything, and then I update it in my planner. The weekly overview is kind of the same idea. Give me a sense of the week ahead. I use the same layout every single week. Again, I'll make a more detailed video to show you how I use my Hobonichi Cousin as a planner. It's more functional. Although I do use some decorative elements, it's quite simple. It's really just to plan things ahead. But my weekly overview, give me an idea of what's going on this week. If I have a payday, if I'm working from home, if I'm working from the office, a general to-do list, and kind of like a little brain dump space of things that I might want to get done, but not necessarily. I've been trying to be a little bit more free-flowing with my Hobonichi Cousin to kind of adapt. If something feels I want to do it a little less pressure, a little bit differently, I gave myself the space to do so. I also theme every month the same way, the same colors. That way I can stick to the same pen color, the same washi tape, the same midliner colors. That way I don't have to overthink it every single week. It's just rinse and repeat, and it just makes it a lot more simple and makes it easier for me to be able to actually use my planner instead of having to rethink how I want to do things every single week. So that is the weekly spreads. And then the daily spreads are basically the daily spreads where I plan my day. So I work from home a few days a week and I work from the office a few days a week. So depending on the day, if I am at home, then I have a more detailed overview of what I need to get done. And I've stuck to, instead of having a big habits tracker for the month, I've made it a little bit more adapted every single day. And my new thing is every couple of weeks, I'm going to reassess some of the habits that I want to practice. So I kind of categorize it face, body, movement, and healing. So that's kind of stress management, anxiety management. And I kind of schedule in what days I want to do which habits, what day I want to go to the gym, what day I want to do my mobility, etc., just to give me a bit of planning and organizing. And that way I can move this card every single day and I can see, okay, today I have to do my derma rolling and my mobility, and then I can plug it into my mini habits tracker every single day. So this is my daily planning. Other days, so one of the big things that I've transitioned in the last few years is to try and have less journals. And in reality, the only 3 journals that I use every single day is the planner, the Hobonichi Cousin, every single day, my daily planner, and even then it's not every single day, and then my 5-year journal, which is most days as well. These are really the journals and planners that I use every single day. The rest is kind of like the bonus, the one-offs, etc., which has been really helpful. And one of the things that I like to do is having brain dumps. So I like to have the space to write down just anything that's on my mind, any lists, any ideas, anything that's coming to mind that I need to get done, but I don't want to write it out in pretty or whatever else. So at the bottom of every page, I have a brain dump space. I have pages like on the weekend, I don't have a more specific schedule. So I'll have like a list of things that I need to get done. It's been a lot more enjoyable to use my Hobonichi Cousin in a more flowing kind of way. Yes, there were specific things that I like to do in it, but other days I'll just write, I was reflecting on my business and my YouTube channel and what I want to feel when I'm doing it. This day I was feeling particularly anxious, so I just journaled because that's all I had on hand. I was out at a cafe. I just recently moved, so I had a list of things I had to move. So as you can see, yes, it's the planning, but it's also kind of like, what do I need in this moment to organize my brain and to feel a little bit more grounded, and just makes things a lot easier in terms of using my planner, because then it's not so rigid. And as you can see, I decorated very minimally, but it still brings me a lot of joy. This is where using small little tricks to make your journal or your planner aesthetic, but in a very simple way, is really the way to go if you have a busy schedule like me. And I have a separate video where I share 10 specific tips on how I make creative spreads. And as you can see, it's very simple, but even adding the little touch of color and a little calligraphy and a little bit of washi tape makes this page a lot more joyful to look at, which is something that's super important to me. So these are my daily pages for my Hobonichi Cousin. I also had some recipes that I'm writing sometimes that I'm trying out, or, calculations or whatever else. So as you can see, it's very much, yes, planning, but really anything that I need on a daily basis. I'm giving myself the space and the permission to use it as I please, even though it's more of an expensive planner. I do literally use it every single day. So I feel justified in the way that I use it, because it does bring me a lot of joy. It is my life and my brain on paper, and it does help me a lot. So I will keep probably using it mostly the same way. And then these are the main pages that I've been using. At the back of the Hobonichi Cousin, there are blank pages of space or things that you can do. I don't know if you're familiar with this planner. So just quickly, you do have some blank spaces and a timetable and favorites and a graph paper. I have never used these pages and it does feel a little bit like a waste. I was going to do this, but I never did. So it does feel like a little bit of a waste. So if you have any ideas for me, if you have a Hobonichi Cousin as well, then can you maybe suggest anything that I can do with these pages? I had a fountain pen that sometimes doesn't work well, so I would just scribble. But anyways, then at the end, so I have a clear cover on it. And at the end, I have one of these pouches that I got from Hobonichi last year that I use for any, for example, pharmacy receipts or things that I need to keep for now. Like if I have I mailed something and I have to keep the tracking information. I keep this in the back so it's a little bit tidier. This is something that I've kept because I need to update it, but like I had showed you with the habits, I also made cards. This is like a bit of a side note, but if you're trying to cultivate habits, then it's really important to get clear on what the habit is, when you're going to do it, and the nitty-gritty of it. So doing the thinking ahead of actually looking at what's my morning routine, what's my evening routine, and what are some daily things that I want to be doing. Breaking it down is a lot easier than trying to figure it out every single day or trying to remember it from your brain. So I make these little cards for myself as I update them through time, depending on the season, depending on the time or whatever else, of some of the important habits that I like to practice. And this is how I use them. I mean, I have this as well, but this is how I use my mini daily habits tracker, just as a reminder of the habits that I'm trying to practice. So this is a quick overview of my Hobonichi Cousin. Like I said, my next video, I will do a more detailed, updated view on how I'm using it as a functional planner if you want to watch that. The next thing is this little guy. I have been talking a lot about this if you've watched my previous video or you've seen some of my TikToks. This has been my favorite size journal and just overall journal in general to use for my daily journaling. It's the perfect size to take it on the go. It's not too bulky. The pages aren't too big that you feel overwhelmed to fill them up. And it's just kind of the perfect size, perfect quality, just perfection. This is, I think, my third one in the last 2 years. Absolutely love it. I already have my new one for next year, if I'm honest with you. So I would highly recommend the B6 journal from Leuchtturm. I have had the hardcover in the past. I tried the soft cover. Although I like the soft cover in terms of taking it on the go if I go to a coffee shop and I want to journal, I do prefer the hardcover just because if I'm sitting in bed, for example, or on the couch and I'm trying to journal, the hardcover does add a little bit of resistance in terms of being able to write more easily. So that's one thing that I would suggest in terms of if you're interested in getting the B6. One thing that I love doing is adding an aesthetic cover to kind of match the cover of the color of the cover of the journal. And then the other thing that I do for my daily journal before I get into what I write in it is every single month I use a different fountain pen color and I use different stickers. This is just my little fun, easy way to make an aesthetic spread, to make it look pretty, to make it fun, to use my stationery, to use all the beautiful stickers and the beautiful fountain pens and the beautiful inks that I have, because I'm trying to not buy much to finish a few of the things that I already have, which I've made a good dent in my washi tape collection that I've had for literally like 10 years, to the point where some of them, this stickiness of the washi tape is kind of like ruined. So I'm making a good dent and I'm eyeing my next purchase, which I'm thinking is going to be a special fountain pen because I've gone through a lot this year and I want to treat myself to a beautiful, maybe Esterbrook pen. If you have any recommendations for me, let me know. But yes, every single month I have a different fountain pen color, different stickers to match. I just think it's really a fun way to kind of keep it cohesive, and as you can see, every single month it just kind of follows. Now I also keep the sticker sheet at the back. That way it makes it easy for me to add the stickers. If I start a new page, then I add the stickers. Oh, I need to add stickers on this page. fun. I'll do that later. That's kind of how I use my daily journal in terms of the more practical thing. The other thing that I love is my daily stamp. It just adds a really nice separation between the different journal entries that I have. So as you can see, this is August and then I moved into September. So I really love that aspect too. This was 13 bucks Canadian on Amazon. So worth it. It's something that I bought for my sisters, a close friend of mine. It's just a really fun, cute little gift that's so worth it to me. Although I try to be intentional and mindful of what I buy, I think that was definitely worth it. So what do I write in my daily journal? So in the past, when I started journaling, it was a lot of gratitude, self-reflection. It is kind of the same thing now, but because I've been journaling for so long, it's kind of whatever I needed in that moment. Sometimes I write affirmations. Sometimes I reflect on my identity and what I want my future self to be and what I want to work towards. Sometimes it's doing the full moon intention, something that I do with a group of my girlfriends. We do full moon ceremonies together. Sometimes it's just writing about something that happened to me, whether it's good or more challenging, just to kind of take it out on paper and release it. Sometimes I do little tarot readings for myself and I write down what the reading was. I think it's really cool to look back at the end of the year, to kind of look back and see the progression, to see what actually worked out and what changed and what signs I had throughout the year, to see what came to be. I just really found that really fascinating. Sometimes it's just reflecting on, I have like an acupressurist that I really talk through a lot of things with, or therapy or whatever else. It's just whatever I need it to be. So even here, I'm repeating an affirmation. I want to surrender something I've been working on this year. So this is really whatever I need it to be. Now, if you have just started journaling, you're not sure, you want to get more comfortable with journaling, with the process of it, I share a lot of prompts on my Instagram or my TikTok. And I have some journaling with me videos on my channel as well, where I walk you through a series of different questions and I kind of push your thinking. So if ever you want to practice journaling with me, then you can definitely check that out, because journaling is such an important tool in my life and I want to share it with you to be able to feel more comfortable, to use it in your life depending on what your needs are. So definitely check that out. But this is my daily journal. Absolutely love it. Have mostly kept up with it, as you can see. And yeah, this is my cute little B6 Leuchtturm journal. Let's talk about my bullet journal. This is a medium A5 dot grid journal, again from Leuchtturm. If you're interested in getting any of the Leuchtturm products, if you're in Canada, you can use code HAPPY20 for 20% off if you would like. My bullet journal, so I've been using a bullet journal for I think 9 years at this point. And although I love the size, I love the idea of it, I'm finding that the last few years, I am not able to keep up with it. And this is a dilemma that I have that maybe you can give me advice on or any thoughts on, is although I love it, it just feels like a lot. And I'm not sure next year what I'm going to do, because for my daily journal, I love having the B6. In the past, I tried combining bullet journal and my daily journal, where let me just show you quickly what I use my bullet journal for, and then we can discuss, and I can tell you what's been challenging and maybe you have some advice for me, but I am still question mark on what I'm going to do next year. So my bullet journal, again, this doesn't match, but I like to make a little creative thread to kind of set the tone for the journal. At the start of every year, I set myself some goals. I first start with writing a nice inspiring vision of how I want to feel, what I want to experience every single day, to check in and tune into the emotions and the feelings of what I want to experience that year. I create a nice little vision board. I also make a digital vision board for my phone. I have a few templates if you're interested in that. I'll leave the information in the captions. Then I do some more goal setting. And as you can see, I haven't done it as much as I would have liked, because my system kind of changed. This was a little bit too, I don't want to say rigid, but almost a little too rigid for me. But I haven't been updating some of these trackers in my bullet journal, which means that I'm probably not going to redo it next year. But at the beginning of the year, I kind of prepared all these pages and never actually used them. I made a celebration list of things that I'm going to do to celebrate, different milestones. A book list, which I just realized that I have a book list and I haven't updated. I probably have like 6 or 7 books to add, actually probably even 10. Forgot that I had this list as well. Coffee shops. I like to go to coffee shops in Montreal just for fun and see what I like, dislike. But as you can see, I haven't updated. Affirmations, which is really sweet and great in principle, but I don't actually use this page. I don't refer back to it. This journal is a mix of creativity, goal setting, memory keeping, tracker, etc. But a lot of it I don't end up actually using. Then this was kind of a reframing of my anxiety. This is a tool that my therapist taught me and I started doing it. Then every single month I do a creative spread, and then I have good memories spread, which I absolutely love. This is one thing that I love doing, even though sometimes it can be overwhelming with how many pictures I have. Having pictures every single month of some of the good memories of things that really brought me a lot of joy and are just good memories, things I want to remember, is a really beautiful way. So this is something I do want to keep. It's not something I want to do in my Hobonichi Cousin because I don't want it to get too bulky and then I don't feel like I won't have enough space. But yes, as you can see, every single month I have the little pictures, so I've kept it consistent. And in the past, I would do the monthly cover, the monthly good memories. I would do monthly goals, which I've changed how I approach it. And then I started doing my daily journaling in this, but I didn't like it. I like having it separate. I do different creative spreads, different memories. So this was the Persian New Year and I wanted to do a little spread with some of the special things that happened, quotes that I like to make a creative spread, which I still love doing. I think I would still do this. More good memories, which I really love. This is another just good memory from a diner that I went to, which was a really good day that I wanted to remember. I want to have a dollhouse. I started building kind of a vision board of what the dollhouse is going to look like. So this is a work in progress, but I'm using pictures from Pinterest as inspiration. This is a note from my sister, June memories. As you can see, a lot of creativity, which is something that I want to keep and do. It just feels as though having a full journal of it and having to finish it in 1 year feels a little overwhelming. So now we're at September. I don't love how this turned out. My ink pad kind of, it's not dried out, but it's getting old, I think. So it just kind of smudged and it was kind of weird. So I'm currently in September and I've started to print some of the pictures, so I have to update it. Then I have a creative spread planned for this page with these pieces of, I don't want to show that because that's a check, but I want to keep that and put it in here. More creative spreads, and then I created this as well because I saw a really cool show. If you're from Montreal and you know Charlotte Cardin, I went to a private show a few days ago with just like 40 people and it was just like an amazing experience. So I made a creative spread out of it. So long story short, we're September. I'm only at page 88 and this journal has 250 pages. Not sure what I'm going to do. I think that once I'm done my daily journal, the hardcover one is longer. Once I'm done the daily journal, because I only have like not even 20 pages left in this, I'm going to do my daily journal on this to try and finish this journal. Next year, do I get an A5? I don't know. I love the creative spreads. I love having the space to have the good memories, especially, but a A5 just feels like a lot. And I like having one journal per year, or do I just bite the bullet and just do half a year? I don't know. I really don't know. And I feel as though I need less things to track. So all of these things that I've put in here, I just need to update them and I haven't actually done them, like the books and all that stuff. Any thoughts or advice would be great because I haven't thought that through just yet or figured it out for next year. I still feel as though I might still get another one for 2026, but what am I going to put in it? That is the question mark. That is something I have to figure out. So any of your input would be really helpful. This was a new addition this year and I've absolutely loved it. It is the A6 5-year journal from Hobonichi. And I had debated for a few years whether or not to get it. I finally bit the bullet because it's not cheap, but I'm so happy that I got it. It has been really fun. I got also this year, so I'm still waiting on my order. This is going to be a near future video, but I got a really cute cover and cover for this. I'm very excited because I don't love the brown. That's why I've kept it in the box. This kind of, not in a negative way, but it's just not what I like. It looks like a Bible that you'd find at a hotel, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's just not very inspiring and not very cute to me. But the inside, of course, the paper is beautiful. You have space to write an entry for the next 5 years. So then the next year, you'll see what was going on the year before, and there's space on the side for whatever else you might need. So I have mostly kept up with this journal every single day. I love being able to use my fountain pens because the paper is just so beautiful. Usually I've been matching the fountain pen that I use for my daily journal into here since it's already inked, but I've been a little bit more free-flowing with what I use in it so it doesn't follow and there's no like rhyme or reason to it, which I think is fine. I think I'm trying to let go of having such a rigid way of doing things and sticking to it nonstop, even though it doesn't always make sense. And then on this side, I end up writing the rest of the day if I need to, so it's kind of an extension of the day. Overall, I've mostly used it, but this year was a bit hectic, a few months. I was moving and all of that, so there was a lot going on. So I have a few empty spots, which I don't love, if I'm honest. But my sister made a really interesting point, is that if there's empty spaces, that's an entry in and of itself. It kind of indicates that something was going on and it's okay. I also realized that I want to be a little bit more specific with what I write in it. I kind of write the general memories or things I want to remember, but I want to be a little bit more in depth and not just be factual of like, today I did this, but talking a little bit more of like the emotions behind what was going on, if that makes sense, to remember how I was feeling in that moment. Don't know if that makes sense. If it does, let me know. All that to say, I have really loved it, and also being okay with having really short entries. That's also okay. So August, what month are we? Well, yeah, I guess August I was really busy because I was moving. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's a lot more empty spots than I realized. That's fine. We're doing fine. It's fine. So I have to add the last few days. But overall, like I said, love, love, love. I'm really happy I ended up buying this, and I can't wait to get the cover and to put it on and take it out of the box. Every day I have to take it out of the box. But this is another one that I try to use every single day. Absolutely love it. If you have been thinking about getting one, a 5-year journal, Leuchtturm also has one. I would recommend it. I went with a smaller size. They had an A5 as well, but that felt too big. I went with a smaller size, which feels less overwhelming, but I would highly recommend it. I have really been loving it a lot. Let's talk about brain dumps. This is something, I guess you can call it a journaling method that I use a lot, and I talked about it when I was going through my Hobonichi Cousin. It is just basically putting down on paper anything that's coming to mind, whether it's a list, whether it's thoughts, whether it's ideas, whether it's things I need to organize, like a to-do list or whatever else. Sometimes I just need to write down what's on my mind, and I can take a step back and kind of organize whatever is overwhelming me in that moment. In the past, I had an old Hilroy journal that a spiral journal that I've had since I'm probably 16 years old. I ended up getting rid of it because it was almost done, and I was just trying to use it to not waste it. My Hobonichi Cousin became my planner and my brain dump space, which I've had enough, because it's an A5, it gives me enough space to be able to do my planning and the brain dumps, which I think is perfect for me. That way I don't have too many journals. As an extension, I had bought this last year, which I ended up not really using it, but this is kind of my brain dump sidekick if I need it. I haven't needed it that much. As you can see, this is January 2025. That is the only entry that I have. The only thing is I have 2 of these, and I actually love the paper, so I'm not sure what I'll do with it, but we'll see. If you have any ideas, let me know. I might just leave it be for now, since the brain dump has been coming in handy there. Maybe this can be a space where I write down ideas that I have for my business. I'm not sure. This hasn't been out to begin with. So this is a journal that was in my lineup at the start of the year that has not been in my lineup at all. And I'm okay with it. I don't feel its emptiness. I don't feel it lacking. So that's what this journal is. The brain dump is all done in my Hobonichi Cousin. So let's talk about a few of my extra little journals that aren't in my daily planning, but I still use. I had mentioned it before. This is what I call my learning journal. It's a journal that my sister gave me, and I take notes in when I'm taking a class. I'd signed up to masterclass last Christmas, and the last few months I haven't done it, but I got back to it this week. It's just basically taking notes on the classes that I'm taking, because I learn better when I'm taking notes and I'm active learning. So this is my learning journal where I'm taking notes on everything that I'm learning, whatever it might be. So there's no pressure in finishing it this year. It's just, it's an ongoing journal, and I'm happy to have it. It's not something that I feel pressure with. I don't have it even out all the time on my desk. It's just something I pull out when I'm doing my masterclass and I want to take notes. But this is something that I love and that I will keep going, and you will likely see this in my lineup next year as well, because as you can see, there's a lot of pages left, and it's just a really beautiful journal that my sister gave me. The next thing is my therapy journal, which is straightforward. Again, no pressure in finishing it. This is actually a really beautiful journal. It's Midori. It's a cute little picture of my parents that I keep because they bring me a lot of joy. But anyways, so this is a Midori journal that I really love. The paper is so beautiful and creamy. It's more opaque and not as thin as the Tomoe River paper in the Hobonichi. So I really, really love the paper, especially with fountain pen. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it. It just like, it's almost like it makes me drool to use. So one of the reasons, so I had this journal, didn't know what to use it for a long time. It used to be for manifestation. It used to be for affirmations. Long story short, I didn't want it to go to waste. So I ended up just using it for therapy, and I'm sticking to it. I'm going to finish it and just keep it for therapy notes. One of the reasons I want to use it for therapy is that this journal just brings me a lot of joy, because this is like a paper cover from Midori as well that goes with it. They have different formats of this journal, different sizes, different covers. It's just a really beautiful experience to use it. And this is the whole thing with stationery, whether we're talking about the Cousin, whether we're talking about the 5-year journal, whether we're talking about the bullet journal from Leuchtturm. I enjoy using these not only because of the product, because it's just an enjoyable experience. It just adds a beautiful element to it. And it's just like a little moment of joy that I get to experience for myself every single day. And of course, therapy can be a little difficult, but then having a beautiful journal and taking my fountain pen and writing it, and it just adds a little element of joy to the experience and just makes it just slightly more positive in a way. That's long story short. Stationery is amazing to add a little bit of joy to your life, which is why I think it's worth investing in it, especially if you're going to use it, to be very intentional with what you buy. Whatever I recommend is definitely things that I use and absolutely love. So if ever you have any questions, let me know and I can make recommendations of what I've loved. Last but not least, let's talk about my cat journal. If you've seen it before, it's still ongoing. No pressure with it. It's just fun. I have a cat that I am absolutely enamored with. His name is Jack. He's me as a cat. And I have a little cat journal where if I want to do a little creative spread if I want to make a creative spread that's not too overwhelming, it's like teeny tiny, it takes me literally like 10 minutes to make a little spread. And I have these cute, sweet little memories of him and I together. And it just brings me a lot of joy to have because I love him a lot. I don't know if you can hear it, but I get emotional talking about him because he has been an amazing addition to my life and just brings me a lot of joy. And having these sweet little memories and pictures just is really, really nice. It's nice to have pictures on your phone, but it's also nice to have them in front of you. So I love my little cat journal. I don't have that many left because I had bought this journal in Paris and I didn't know what to do with it. I just thought it was super cute and I got it matching with my sister. I ended up doing this with it and I actually really love it a lot. It's just a really cute little tiny journal. If you want to see more journaling and planning videos in the future, make sure to like and subscribe and let me know what is in your ecosystem, what has been working, what has not been working, or if you have any advice for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you a lot of love. Bye for now.